Today I want to talk about the one thing I do to my vocals, which is slightly controversial, by the way, to get them into the right headspace when I'm mixing them. So let's discuss this. So there's no denying that vocals is almost unequivocally the most important part of the mix, which is supposed to be heard the most, it's supposed to be present the most, and it's ultimately it's just the most important part of a mix. You know, there's the entire music track, there's the drums, the percussion, the effects, the synths, and everything, but nothing quite adds up to as important as the vocal, when provided that the track has a vocal. So when the track has a vocal, that is the most important thing. There is nothing more important than the vocal. And therefore, the vocal gets a lot of time, and people spend a lot of time mixing their vocals to get it to sound perfect, to get it sounding on top of the mix, to get it sounding cutting through, because again, it's the most important thing, so we got to be able to hear it right away. So a lot of people spend a lot of time mixing in their vocals, and rightfully so, I would say, actually. But there's something that I do in my vocals which instantly saves me a certain amount of time, and it's a little bit controversial. So I do want to put out there, the disclaimer here is that this will work for the style tracks that I'm going to be showing you, more slow ballads, kind of more, I would even say more a Jewish style. So if that's something that you're going for, which I actually do believe that pop style this technique would also apply to pop style, but it's definitely going to shine more in the Jewish, more slow-ish, intimate vibe style. So I have a vocal here. It's actually fully processed, fully mixed, and I just want to show you what most people's vocals would sound like, which is not a bad sound, but this is how they sound. So I'm going to play a little bit of the verse and then a little bit of the chorus.
Refo'eni Hashem Ki nivhalu atzomoi Oy v'nafshi, oy v'nafshi.
Good sounding vocal. Let's play a little bit of the chorus.
Oy v'yato Hashem al Mosai Shuvo Hashem Chalto nafshi.
Now let me play for you how it would have sounded if I would have done this little trick or technique, which we'll get to in a second. So let's play a little bit of the verse.
Refo'eni Hashem Ki nivhalu atzomoi Oy v'nafshi.
Let's go to the chorus.
Oy v'yato Hashem al Mosai Shuvo Hashem Chalto nafshi.
So, in my opinion, the vocal in this example, rather than the last example, is a lot more present, and you can hear it a lot easier. And this also saves me a lot of time mixing, because I do this before I'm mixing, which it is technically a mixing trick. So what is this thing that I keep referring to? Enough suspense. It's just enough. So the thing that I'm referring to is actually really simple. So I always say that the most powerful tool in mixing is your volume knob, because mixing essentially is all about volume, when and where. So the volume fader is the most important tool. And all I did between example 1 and example 2 is raise the volume significantly, 4 dBs almost. So before it was at like -3 point something, and now we're at positive 0.4. So that's a pretty substantial jump. It's almost 4 dB, or it could be it actually is 4 dB more than it was before. So most people would kind of want their vocal to be mushed into the track and then do all their mixing so it could like poke out. But the volume wise, it's like the same-ish volume as the track. I like to bring my vocals up and separate it from the track. That way, instantly, it's separated from the track, and automatically you can hear them better because they're louder. You can understand that they're the most important part of the mix, because again, they're louder. It's really self-explanatory once I told you what it is. And some people will say this is a little controversial, because once you get to limiting and mastering, you get into this clipping before you get into headrooms problems. But again, that's something that we have to talk about in a different video, and it's something I do have a workaround for, and it's something that I kind of sacrifice because I like the sound so much. If I'm telling you right now, if you have a style song that's like this, and it's like more like intimate style, slowish vibe, and you want to make your vocals pop and really be grabbed out, stop spending so much time mixing it, and just try this trick. Just once. Just see what happens. Once, twice, maybe 3 times. Just try it. It took me a little bit of time to get used to as well when I started doing this. But once I started doing this, I realized that really the vocal is the most important part. Everything else is an afterthought. So just raising the vocals by 3 or 4 dB, or maybe sometimes more, sometimes less, again, it depends on the song, will get you that clarity, that separation that you are so desperately trying to do with mixing EQ, compression, and saturation, and the like. So this is my really quick tip. And if you disagree with this technique, that's totally fine. I actually understand where you're coming from. But I would recommend to you to just try it. Just try it. Just have an open mind and just try it. If you don't like it, you go back to your old ways. That's totally fine. But just try it. I know both sides of the aisle. I was on that side of the vocal has to be, similar volumes. It has to be in the track, and then it has to be mixed in a way where we're pulling it out. But now I'm more on the track, more on the train of like, the vocal is the most important thing, so I'm going to make it a little bit louder, and I'm going to get that separation that I need. That's all I have for you today. Give it a try. Give it a shot. You'll be surprised at the results, or you won't be surprised. That's okay, too. Before you go, since you made it this far in the video, I want to give you something free from me to you. I want to give you my free home studio gear guide. So if you're looking to upgrade your home studio, or you want to just start a home studio, you're not sure where to start, you're not sure what to buy, and you're within a budget, so I got you covered. I put together an entire PDF called my Home Studio Gear Guide that has everything you need to start your home studio or upgrade your home studio, and has different options for different budgets. So I recommend go checking it out. It's in the link of the description. And until next time.